Hey folks, Philly Boy J here, back with another video. And today I'm going to be showing you guys how to make pineapple upside down cake from scratch. You're going to need a big bowl. What we're going to be doing is combining our dry ingredients first. So first you're going to add a cup and a half of all-purpose flour. Then you're going to add 1 cup of sugar. You're going to add 2 teaspoons of baking powder. That's what's going to help the batter rise. Without the baking powder, your cake won't rise and it'll be flat as a pancake. You're going to add 1/4 teaspoon of salt as well. That's going to enhance the flavor. Okay. By the way, I like cake from out the box better than cake made from scratch, but you guys wanted a pineapple upside down cake from scratch recipe, so that's what I'm going to show you guys today. A lot of people don't add cinnamon and nutmeg, but I like to because I think that it gives the cake additional flavor. So we're going to add a hint of nutmeg and cinnamon, 1/4 teaspoon of each. And we're going to stir all of our dry ingredients in. Okay, make sure that it's evenly distributed. Make sure you stir it in really well for about a good 2 minutes. Okay. Now here are our liquid ingredients and the other ingredients you're going to need for your pineapple upside down cake. You're going to need 2 eggs. You're going to need some vanilla extract, pearl or imitation, don't really matter. You're going to need some buttermilk. You're going to need a stick of butter. Do not try to substitute that with margarine. It will not taste the same and it'll ruin the cake. The flavor won't be the same. And make sure you have 1 can of sliced pineapples. We're going to be using that pineapple juice as well. You want to get a big mixing bowl and you're going to add your dry ingredients first to the mixing bowl, and then you're going to add your stick of butter, and we're going to blend the dry ingredients in with the butter until we're left with big crumbs. Alright, and you're going to blend it with your hand mixer on low speed. Now I was always taught to blend cake on low speed so that air won't get into the cake and you be left with like these big holes inside your cake. Usually that come from the air that get trapped into the batter from blending on high speed. So you want to blend on low speed so that as little air can get into the batter as possible. We're going to add 2 eggs and then we're going to blend them. We're going to blend them in, and then the crumbs are going to kind of get really mushy and you're going to be left with like this big doughy thick cake batter. Okay, and then we're going to add the buttermilk. You're going to add a 1/2 cup of buttermilk. I usually add a little more, but you guys are going to add a 1/2 cup of buttermilk. Okay, and now it's kind of smoothing it out a little bit. Cake mix is not as thick. Now you're going to add the vanilla extract. It's going to give it flavor. We're going to be adding 2 teaspoons of that, and you're going to add I'll say about 1/4 cup of pineapple juice. So that pineapple juice from the can, you want to place that into like a measuring cup first and measure it first, or just use 4 tablespoons. That's about 1/4 cup. You're going to stir this in, and then you want to give it a taste test. And if you feel like you don't taste enough of that pineapple flavor, because this is pineapple upside down cake, so you want the cake to have a pineapple flavor. If you don't feel like there's enough pineapple flavor in the cake, you can add a little more pineapple juice, but start off with 1/4 cup of pineapple juice. Okay, now the next step is, what you're going to need to do is get a frying pan. Okay, you're going to place it over low heat, and to the frying pan you're going to add a 1/2 stick of butter, and you're going to add a cup of brown sugar. Okay, and then you're going to stir that in until it melts. Now, if you are baking your cake in a baking pan and you're not going to bake it in the skillet pan, you really don't have to do this. You can put the butter and the brown sugar in the baking pan, place it in a 350 degrees oven, and you can allow it to melt that way, and then you can add the pineapples. If you're baking it in a baking pan, you can add the brown sugar to the baking pan with the butter and let it melt that way, and then even it all out before adding the pineapples. But I chose to do it this way. Whatever way is easier for you. But yeah, gonna stir this in. It's looking really, really good. And there's our melted butter and brown sugar. We're going to get our pineapples. And some of these pineapples I'm going to slice up. Okay, so I can put on the sides of the baking pan. And so that I can put some of the pineapples in the middle of the big pineapples. I want to make sure that my cake is filled with pineapples. I don't like big spaces of the cake being without pineapples. So I want to make sure that it's fully covered in pineapples. This is pineapple upside down cake, okay? So at this point, you're going to preheat your oven to 350 degrees. Then you're going to get your baking pan and you're going to pour the melted butter and brown sugar into the baking pan. Look at that. It looks so good. Look at that. So I'm going to even this out. Spread it around in the baking pan just a bit. Make sure all sides are even with brown sugar. Just like that right there. And again, guys, I like cake out the box better. I don't know, it's something that they put in their cake mix that makes the cake come out really, really good. So usually I'll use Duncan Hines brand of cake mix to make my pineapple upside down cake. But I'm going to be showing you guys how to make it from scratch, since I do know how to make it from scratch. And it comes out pretty good from scratch. It comes out pretty good. Just not as good as the cake in the box. I just like the cake in the box better. So you're going to fit your pineapples into your baking pan however they fit best. And if there's little spaces where you can fit pineapples into, make sure you do so like I'm doing here. Fitting it right in the middle like that there. And here are our Marshmallow cherries. And we're going to place them in the holes. That's just for decoration purposes. I know some people that don't even add cherries to that pineapple upside down cake, but I like it. Like the taste, and I like it for decoration purposes. Okay, so place that in the holes of the pineapples. Okay, and then after you do that, you're going to add the cake mix to the baking pan. Okay, top it with the cake mix. And you're going to bake this for about, I'll say 40 minutes. It took my cake about 40 minutes, and then after 40 minutes, it was all done. It came out really, really good. So I say bake it for about 40 minutes. Bake it for about 40 minutes on 350 degrees. Okay. And this is the way it came out. That's the way it came out. So what you're going to do is you're going to let it sit for a little while, maybe about 20 minutes or so. Okay. So after you let it sit for about 20 minutes or so and cool off a little bit, you're going to get a plate that's bigger than the baking pan. Okay. Whatever you top it with, it has to be bigger than the baking pan, because if not, when you flip it over, all of the juice from the pineapples and the brown sugar and butter is going to come out, and it's going to make a big mess. Okay, so yeah, there it is right there. I mean, it came out really, really good. I really enjoyed it. You know, it's probably the best that I've ever made it from scratch, and I've only made it from scratch about 3, maybe 4 times in my whole life. But yeah, it came out pretty good. I really enjoyed it. I still like how it come out when I make it from the box better, but it came out pretty good. I really enjoyed it. A couple of my friends had some. A couple church members had some. They really liked it. They thought it was good. They was like, wow, this tastes really, really good. So, I guess it works. Try this recipe out. Tell me what you guys think. It tasted pretty good to me. Can't get no better than that. Came out pretty darn good for it to be from scratch. A lot of people say that they struggle to make really, really good pineapple upside down cake from scratch. But all cakes are kind of difficult and hard to make from scratch because of the aftertaste, and you know, just don't taste good as the cake from the box. But this was yeah, I did my thing on this one, guys. Tell me what you think. Hope you enjoy the recipe. Pineapple upside down cake from scratch. Peace.